There is a file on a server somewhere with your name on it, and it is more detailed than your own medical record. It knows the route you drove to work this morning. It knows the symptom you Googled at midnight and never mentioned to your doctor. It knows which ex you still look up and how long you paused on their photos. No hacker stole this. No government demanded it. You clicked I agree, and in exchange, you got free email, free maps, free storage. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you the exact setting on your phone right now that's been quietly building that file since the day you turned it on. It's hard to believe today, but in 1998, Google was the good guy. Search engines like Yahoo and AltaVista buried you in spam and dead links. Two Stanford PhD students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, had a simple idea: rank pages by how many other sites trusted them, not by how many keywords they crammed in. That algorithm, PageRank, crushed the competition overnight. The homepage was just a white screen in one box. No banners, no pop-ups. It felt like magic. Google's unofficial motto became famous for a reason: don't be evil. People didn't just use Google, they trusted it. But trust combined with data becomes something else entirely. And Google had a problem. It had built the best search engine on earth and still hadn't figured out how to make real money from it. Picture a library where a librarian writes down every book you've ever opened. Not for a day, for 20 years. That's what your search bar became. Search best pizza near me, and Google learns where you are. Search symptoms of depression, and it learns your health fears. Search engagement rings under $3,000, and Google may know about your future before your own family does. One search means nothing. Billions of searches from billions of people build the most detailed behavioral map of humanity ever assembled. And that map solved Google's money problem overnight. Old internet ads were billboards. Everyone saw the same one, regardless of who they were. Google asked a different question. What if a search reveals what you're about to do, not just who you are? Someone searching best running shoes is probably about to buy shoes. That insight became Google Ads, and it flipped advertising upside down. A plumber in Ohio could now pay to appear only for people searching emergency plumber near me. A dealership in Texas could target only people already searching best SUV under $40,000. It felt like a win for everyone, but it created one dangerous incentive. The more Google understood you, the more money it made. So Google stopped wanting just your searches. It started wanting everything. 1 GB of free Gmail storage in 2004 felt unbelievable. Millions signed up instantly, handing over their emails, contacts, and private conversations. Then Google Maps made paper maps obsolete and quietly started learning where you were every single day. Then Android arrived in 2008, and this is the one most people underestimate. Your phone isn't a phone, it's a location tracker, a microphone, a camera, and a payment device that's within arm's reach nearly every waking minute of your life. None of these products felt dangerous by themselves. Stacked together, they formed the largest data ecosystem ever built by one company in human history. Here's what that actually looks like for one ordinary person. Not a hypothetical, a pattern documented in real court cases and journalism about how this data gets used. A woman searches how to leave an abusive relationship from her phone. Weeks later, ads for divorce attorneys start appearing, not because she told anyone, but because the search itself was the tell. A teenager searches symptoms of an eating disorder late one night, and the recommendation algorithm on his phone starts quietly serving him more of exactly that content, because that's what kept him watching longest. Nobody sat in a room and decided to target this person specifically. That's actually the unsettling part. No one has to. The system doesn't need to understand your pain. It only needs to notice what keeps people like you clicking and repeat it. This is why this story isn't really about ads. It's about a system that profits every time it learns something a little too personal about you. Here's what almost nobody knows, even people who think they've figured Google out. You don't need a single Google account for Google to have a file on you. In 2020, 5 ordinary people sued Google over one specific claim. They were told Incognito mode was private, and it wasn't. Google fought it for years until the lawsuit's discovery process dragged Google's own internal emails into daylight. One senior Google executive had written that the disclosure language around incognito mode was so vague it was, in his own words, almost more damaging than saying nothing at all. Here's what was really happening behind that dark browser window. Even in incognito mode, ad and analytics tools embedded across the web kept logging your activity, while the screen in front of you implied you'd gone invisible. Google eventually settled, agreeing to delete billions of stored records and rewrite its disclosures to plainly admit the mode does not stop data collection. A federal court had to force one of the most powerful companies on Earth to tell you the truth about a button already on your phone. Location tracking had the same problem. Users turned off location history, expecting off to mean off. Investigators found certain Google apps kept logging location anyway. Attorneys general across dozens of U.S. states investigated, and Google agreed to one of the largest privacy settlements in American history. Hundreds of millions of dollars over claims it deceived users about exactly this. Location data isn't your favorite coffee shop. It's whether you visited a hospital, a courthouse, an addiction treatment center. That's not marketing data. That's a diary of your life, recorded while the setting meant to stop it sat there doing nothing. Google's code doesn't only live on Google's own sites. It's embedded across a massive share of the entire internet. Ad tags, analytics scripts, sign in with Google buttons, even the I'm not a robot box you click without thinking. Every one of those can quietly ping Google's servers, passing along your IP address, your device type, your browsing pattern, signals specific enough to identify you even if you've never once created a Google account. Privacy researchers call this a shadow profile. You never built it. You never agreed to it. It just exists, growing more detailed every day you're online, possibly right now, on whatever device you're watching this on. This came up inside a federal courtroom when regulators ordered Google to share portions of its search data with rival companies to restore competition. Google's own lawyers pushed back, arguing that handing over that data would jeopardize user privacy for hundreds of millions of Americans. The company that built the file is now the one warning you how dangerous that file is, the moment someone else might get to look inside it. So why didn't people just switch to something else? Because for 2 decades, there was nowhere real to switch to. In August 2024, a federal judge ruled Google had illegally maintained a monopoly in general search and search advertising, revealing Google paid Apple, Mozilla, and Android phone makers billions of dollars a year just to stay the default search engine before you ever got a real choice. In April 2025, a second federal court ruled Google illegally monopolized the ad server and ad exchange markets, the pipes carrying digital ads across most of the internet. Competition is supposed to punish companies for mistreating users. But when one company owns your browser, your email, your kid's Google Classroom account, and the ad pipes underneath most websites you visit, there's no rival. There's Google, or there's inconvenience. Remember what I promised you at the start of this video? Open your phone, go to your Google account, find activity controls, find web and app activity. That single toggle controls whether Google saves what you search, what you click, your location, your voice recordings, and your app usage across every device you own indefinitely until you delete it yourself. For most people, that switch has been on since the day they made their very first Google account, as a kid, with a parent standing next to them. Nobody explained what it does. It was just on by default, quietly building the file I described at the start of this video. That's the file. That's the setting. It's been there the entire time. Did Google kill privacy, or did we trade it away one convenient click at a time? Nobody wakes up one day and decides they don't care about privacy anymore. It happens gradually. One feature, one permission, one I agree at a time. That's what makes this story uncomfortable. There's no single villain moment, just 1,000 small, boring, brilliantly engineered defaults that made saying no feel irrational. Go check that activity control setting right now, then tell me in the comments what you find. I'd bet most of you have never seen it before today. And the next time you click I agree on anything, ask yourself one question. What exactly am I agreeing to?